Good afternoon. My name is George Wright, and today I'd like to take this opportunity to speak to you about one of the most valuable learned skills that we have, and also one that is often taken for granted: reading. Imagine for a moment the lives we would lead if we were unable to perform basic tasks: reading traffic signs, following prescription instructions, heeding warnings, or filling out job applications. These are, in fact, the lives led by millions of Americans today. While difficult to comprehend, there are still adults who are unable to read because they never grasped literacy as children, struggling through each day, many of them leading lives of poverty. America's illiterate are often forgotten. Today, I would like to start by recognizing these individuals instead, and hopefully spreading an awareness of a grave situation in our country. In addition, I'll be talking to you about how you and I can help the adults of the future, our children, to avoid these same difficulties by donating our time and resources to a worthwhile cause. Reading is fundamental, or RIF. The National Assessment of Adult Literacy in a recent study has noted that 14% of Americans over the age of 16 were below basic reading proficiency standards. As you can see, the need is overwhelming, and I cannot stress enough the importance of this program. In order to reduce the number of adults who are illiterate, we must first take steps to improve the education of our youth. As the father of a child who struggled with reading, this issue weighs heavily upon me. I wish only for the best possible future for my son. I wish the same for all the sons and daughters who struggle with reading as children and who, if not helped now, will struggle with the same issues as adults. For the next few minutes, I'd like to explain to you the need for RIF. Dr. Jim Taylor, a professor at the University of San Diego, notes some interesting facts in his piece in the Huffington Post. He states that an estimated 36% of our nation's fourth grade students are reading below basic level on reading evaluations. By the time they enter the 8th grade, only 19% of students read when not assigned to. And as for an adult, an estimated 40 million of them are unable to read to or with their children to help them develop these necessary skills. In our nation, within our youth, there is a crisis of illiteracy. Children who struggle with reading often do not have easy access to books. The Child Defense has estimated on their website that a baby is born into poverty every 42 seconds. The deprivation of books from our children is detrimental in a variety of ways. First, children without the ability to pick up a book are denied the joy of reading for pleasure. It is this pastime that fosters a love of words, language, and reading. Secondly, these same children are also denied the practice of reading outside of school. For those having difficulty, this practice can make all the difference in the world. By now, we've certainly explored the importance of putting books into the hands of children. Now let's look at how Reading is Fundamental, or RIF, can help. Reading is Fundamental is a nonprofit organization whose primary purpose lies in placing books where they are needed most, in the homes of our youth. According to the RIF website, book ownership, RIF's most important program, provides 15 million new free books for more than 4 million children spanning across 50 states. However, RIF does not end its mission there. It also aims to educate. Care to Read is RIF's second program, and it trains staff members in schools, clubs, and community centers. It even aids those same staff members in resources to, in turn, train others. RIF's final program, Family of Readers, is just as important. Rather than working with mentors or traditional educators, Family of Readers focuses on parents, teaching them to inspire their children to read and to take time to read together. With just a practical observation of today's society, we can see both the importance of reading and the negative ways that we are all impacted when literacy is not fostered. If children who cannot read are allowed to develop into adults who cannot read, it is not only the individual, but also the nation that suffers. In their article, Basic Reading Skills and Literacy in America's Least Literate Adults, the National Center for Education Statistics has noted some of the costs of the inability to read. For instance, low literacy costs $73 million per year in terms of direct health care costs for those who are unable to read, research, and review their illnesses and proper medication usage. Understandably, 43% of adults in level 1 literacy skill are living in poverty, compared to only 4% of those at a level 5 skill level. And finally, in a survey of prison inmates, it was found that 60% of incarcerated individuals are functionally illiterate. Obviously, this is not a trend that any of us want to continue. However, in March of 2011, RIF, a program designed to combat these very outcomes, lost its federal funding. Now the program is solely supported by corporations, foundations, community organizations, and most importantly, thousands of individuals. Without these contributions and the work of RIF's network of volunteers, the program at this point will cease to exist. The need is beyond clear and the solution even more so. I am the solution. You are the solution. Together, we have the ability to make a difference in countless lives. How can we help? We can give back to a program that has given so much. We can donate to RIF. Donating to Reading is Fundamental is as easy as logging into your computer. Once you visit the Reading is Fundamental website, you can donate your money in 3 ways. You can give a single cash donation, you can give a cash donation in the memory of a loved one, or you can sign up for monthly donations. You can also visit the additional links to learn how to give your time and heart to the program as well. Volunteers are always needed and encouraged. As well as your monetary donation, your emotional support and a smile can make a world of difference in the eyes of a child. There is dire need in our nation today for an advancement of literacy. Today you've been shown that need, as well as the consequences at hand if it's not met. You now know how to help join the fight. Go to RIF.org to get started by either donating, volunteering, or advocating for the program today. The more young minds that we can reach and ignite with a passion for reading, the fewer struggling adults we will have in our future. This is your chance to change someone's life. Do not pass it by. Thank you.